Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking to you about jackets. I'm going to show you the differences between some of the types, talk about some of the features, tips and tricks, and I'm specifically going to give you a comparison between the Joe Rocket 2.0 reactor and the new 3.0. Okay, first let's quickly talk material. There is a definite pecking order in the types of materials that motorcycle jackets and other apparel is made of. Lowest on the totem pole is what's called textile. Textile is a fancy word that means not leather. Basically, it's a really heavy-duty polyester windbreaker type material, and that's what we have here on the sides of this particular jacket. Goes down all the important points of contact. If you ever go down, you want your shoulders and elbows protected. As far as abrasion, that's what's going to be scraping along the concrete. And what we have on this jacket is a nice big strip of textile material. If this were a pure textile jacket, it would be probably 40 or 50 bucks tops and be completely made of this material. It may or may not have some kind of armor in it. Might have some provisions for adding it later to keep the cost down. All right, textile is the absolute cheapest. This is what's called a hybrid jacket. Get to that in a second. Above a straight textile is a straight mesh jacket. This is mesh material. It's still a polyester, it's still nice and tough, but it's very perforated. It lets through a whole lot of wind because it is designed to keep you nice and cool. It still gives you protection, and it's mainly used on non-critical contact points like your chest, sometimes over the top of your shoulders, around the back, that kind of thing. This keeps you nice and cool, especially important in states where it's really hot, like here in Florida. All right, then you have hybrid jackets, such as this one. This is a hybrid between textile and mesh. And obviously what you can see is it keeps the mesh for the cooling and it puts the textile where it's needed most. So it is a step above a straight textile because you have the cooling effects of the mesh, and it's a step above a straight mesh because it gives you the added protection of the solid, textile. This is about the cheapest I would ever recommend anybody go for a motorcycle jacket. These are very inexpensive. You're going to spend 60, 70, maybe 80 bucks on these. This one was a little bit on the higher end because it's a woman's jacket. And of course, for whatever retarded reasons, you pay for feminine designs. That's really the only difference between this and a guy's jacket. Same features. Now in this particular one, this is a Joe Rocket brand, and they give you these little flower things in here too. Let's see if I can find a name for this one. This is called the Diva. What we have as far as features is actually a pretty good set. You have a back pad for the spine. This is not armor. This is simply a dual density foam back pad. It keeps the jacket nice and straight down the back so you don't have the wind ever trying to lift it up. And it's very comfortable if you're leaning back on something. The wife loves this because she can lean back on my trunk on the bike. She doesn't need a specific backrest. She's got a nice comfy backrest right here. Now, if you're not riding with a jacket, you need a backrest because you don't have any of this. It does have provisions for adding actual spine armor. So you can add that at any time if you want to. There is room. You also have a zipper here to add pants if you have the type that bond. Let's see, no clips along the bottom. There is a zip out interior windproof liner. It's not a waterproof liner, it's not rain gear, but it does dramatically increase the warmth of the jacket. So these, even though they're free air breathing, they can be used in very cold weather just by putting in the windproof liner. I'll tell you what, it turns it into a sweat box. If it's pretty much above 40, I don't want to wear it with the liner. And I do have this liner in my jackets too. And then here you have a waterproof rubber lined pocket so you can put a cell phone or any kind of electronics like that. And they give you a little pass through here if you're listening to music. This is an older school design jacket. The newer ones don't typically have this. But back before the days of Bluetooth, you know, we had iPods or we had MP3 players that we would put in here, and then our headphone cables would come out here. So that's what that's for. And then we have a couple hand warmer pockets on the outside. And that's all she wrote. This is my wife's jacket. Tell you, I wasn't super happy about her picking it because it's textile here and not leather, but it's a hell of a lot better than nothing. And the woman design jackets are very, very limited. Along the back here we have 3 straps. This is for drawing it in so they can fit their waist a little bit better. Guys' jackets will typically have something on the side to do that, but this gives a kind of like a corset look. So again, it's on the female design jackets. And then along the arms here, what we have are 3 snaps, 3 different positions, and this is to cinch the forearm nice and tight, because what we have is elbow protection. We have CE approved elbow armor and shoulder armor. Hey now, these are removable, and what you want is this elbow armor to be nice and secure on your arm. You don't want this moving around, so this gives you the nice precise fit. And then down here we have some Velcro so you can size this to the correct position, and then you have a zipper so you can easily quickly open it and shut it for taking the jacket on and off, and you don't have to readjust anything every single time you put it on. Now moving on up the food chain, we have a hybrid jacket that is a combination of mesh and leather. Much better protection, more expensive. This particular jacket is a Rocket Reactor 2.0. This was a very popular jacket around for many years. This one I got in 2007, and the wife actually wore this back in the day. This is an extra large. Back then I had the same model in double extra large in blue because I had a blue bike, but I've been wearing this one since I had the red bike. So I have many miles. I had my blue one since 2006, so 9 years on it. I got a lot of miles in this particular jacket, and I absolutely love it. So much so that when I needed a new one, I bought the same model, just updated, because I knew it was an awesome jacket. Now these go for $150 to $200, depending on what you're getting exactly, but that's about the range a leather and mesh is going to go for. Feature-wise, this one has a ton of them, and you're going to find a range of features depending on the jacket you're looking for. Protection-wise, this one adds, as you can imagine, leather instead of the textile at all the contact points. This one has leather down the forearms and covering the shoulder or the elbow armor. The elbow armor is a little more substantial than the one in the cheaper jacket. Again, you have a Velcro cinch down here to size it. You also have a snap and a zipper. Can't say I ever used this. I just kept the Velcro open, kept the zipper shut, and that was the right size for me over my gloves. But they give you lots of options to cover just about anyone's choice. Again, it has the free flow air mesh on all the body areas, all on the back. They also have these nice stripes that are reflective, so at night it does glow very brightly. And this has a perforated leather. Now this leather, I've been happy with, okay? This is where I'll get into the comparison too between the 2.0 and the 3.0. This leather is very thin, it's very light, it actually flows pretty good air. Not as good as the mesh, but it keeps you cool. Now like I said, if you're in a state like me in Florida, Texas, maybe Arkansas, parts of Georgia, New Mexico, Arizona, parts of California, you know it gets hot. It gets damn hot. And going full bore, full leather race suit, while it's awesome for protection, that's certainly the top of the food chain, it is not an option. You would overheat, unless you're on a track, moving all the time, it's not an option. I mean, safety-wise, it's not an option. Yes, it's great when you fall, but it can put you in danger if you're in stop-and-go traffic, sitting in 100, 110-degree sun, baking, dehydrating, sweating, overheating in a full leather race suit. Forget about it. Doesn't happen. That's why you never see them. So, what you typically see are these hybrid leather and mesh jackets, and that is the best you want to do in a hot state. If you're up north, or if you're in a cooler climate, hey, go for it. Get yourself a full leather. The only downside is the price, but protection, you can't do any better. This is what I run. All right, this leather is a little thinner, but I didn't know it was a little thinner until I got the new one. I'll go into that in a bit. This has, like the woman's version I showed you, because this is an old school design, remember, this is from the mid 2000s, but they still make it. I mean, you can still buy these brand new. Has the headphone pass-through, has a waterproof cell phone or MP3 player compartment here, has a removable windproof liner, full thing, has a zipper for pants, has the inner mesh too, this is just to hold things in place, also has the dual density foam back pad and the provisions for adding actual spine protection armor if you so choose. It has shoulder armor, which is missing in this jacket, I'll go into that in a second, and it has the elbow armor. And by the way, this armor is fully replaceable, so if it cracks, if it just gets worn out, which this did, kind of what prompted me to do this, let's take a look at it. So here we've got a shoulder pad, and this is the typical armor that you find in virtually every jacket out on the market. It's CE approved. Basically, you have CE approved and non-CE approved. It's a level of protection. Can't tell you exactly how well it's going to protect you. That depends on circumstances, but at least CE approved is the best you're going to find out there in any kind of normal off-the-shelf or online product. It's a hard rubberized foam basically. It is very flexible, but it doesn't really want to compress. This is designed to take the impact of a fall and give you really good abrasion resistance. They're quite thick, and they do last a good several years, 5 to 6 years or so. Now, just like a helmet, you want to replace these guys periodically. People don't believe me that the inside guts of a helmet deteriorate just from age. These are exactly the same way. Go back and watch my why you should replace a helmet every 5 years video to see an example of what happens in that. But these operate the exact same way. Several months ago, I was riding and I noticed that something felt funny in my arm in this jacket. And what had happened is the elbow armor in here, which is the same stuff, just cracked in half. And one half had slid over the other. So I was feeling the armor slide all the way down my forearm. I didn't have anything on my elbow. This is one big long piece right here, and it's got a flex joint right here so you can bend your elbow. Well, took that out, ordered a new set. It was about 25 bucks just for the new armor. Slipped it in. All right, thought I was good. Well, a couple weeks ago, felt something funny in one of my shoulders. Sure enough, the shoulder armor wasn't far behind. I don't know why I thought, I shouldn't do all four at once, but I'm kind of glad I didn't. I'll show you why in a second here too. So basically, you can replace it if you really want to. If the rest of your jacket is in great shape and it still fits you and everything, hey, go ahead, spend 50 bucks, get yourself a whole new set of armor and you're good to go. Back pad, I really couldn't tell you. I do not know if this is going to deteriorate at any kind of the rate that this stuff does. It's not going through any of the flexing. This just stays straight and flat. And it's a completely different material. So I couldn't tell you if you need to replace this, but you definitely need to replace this stuff. This was not abused. Obviously, there's not that much flex in the shoulders, especially in the armor. I mean, it's just floating in the jacket. I'm not flexing it like I am the elbow armor by actually moving my arm. So it wasn't because of any kind of use that it broke. It's just from the age of the material. And that's it. I mean, these jackets are stored inside. They're not stored out in the sun or anything like that. So it's pure age. Replace your helmets, replace your armor regularly, or change your jackets. Now, one other quick thing. I'm going to talk to you about gloves. Now, this is a pair I bought with my 2006 bike. Same time, same dealer. Picked it out. Gloves are something that you probably don't have a problem with, but I have a problem with because I got big hands, I got big palms, but I got short fingers, so finding gloves that fit me is just a pain in the butt. So it's something I like to do in person at a dealer to make sure it fits me. Because I'll tell you what, mail ordering these, even though today we have awesome choices for buying apparel with free returns just about everywhere. You can go to Revzilla, Competition Accessories, you know, Bike Bandit, Partzilla. Everybody has free returns on apparel, so you can try stuff out very safely, but you're still out the cash. You still have to wait the shipping time. You have to wait for a refund. You know, we don't all have $1,000 to order 10 pairs of gloves to see what we like and then return the other 9, you know, so I like to do it locally. Feel free to do what you like, but that's why I do it locally. Now this pair fits me wonderfully. It's an FS brand. I don't even know if they're still around. I don't know if you're going to find this kind of stuff online. This is just what is available locally to me. Probably other stores, because the dealers around here are chains, so might be the same stuff, who knows. But these wore damn good. I mean, there's 50,000 miles on this pair physically. I've got some wear here in the material. They're very thick. They're extremely padded. These feel like, number one, I'm wearing a pair of oven mitts. It's not too communicative between the bars and my fingers, but they're very comfortable, and they were really good in cold weather. A little warm in hot weather. Now they do have a mix of textile, mesh, and leather. There's a lot of leather here. They got carbon fiber on the knuckles, lots of leather on all the contact points, very thick pads on the palms. You know, it's a really good, comfortable pair of gloves, and they're semi-gauntlets. They do go up far on the wrist, beyond where your watch would be. I had no problem with these. Let me show you another pair. I bought these, likewise at the same time, 9 months ago that I got this other bike, and I went a different route. Now again, luckily I found a pair that fit me locally. This is a shorter pair, so it's not the gauntlet type. They just go to your wrist, which actually I like better because I am not riding in any kind of cold weather, and my jacket goes over the glove here, so I don't need that extra glove reach. You may, depending on what jacket, if you're wearing one, that you have. This is a much, much thinner material. There's no extra padding. You have the mesh, you have the leather, you have protection on all the contact points, carbon fiber on the knuckles again, and a contact point here. Very nice leather padding, but it's just the leather and the mesh. You don't have the extra padding on the inside. No oven mitt feeling. Extremely good tactile feel. This feels like a second skin. So much better for control and feel on the motorcycle, for picking things up, for doing anything with my helmet. Oh my God, I mean day and night. So bear in mind there are differences just in the padding with the gloves. Then you also have design differences like gauntlet or not. And then basically it's up to protection. But here's what I really don't like about this pair. Like I said, about 9 months old, color is already fading. If you look here, might be a little hard to see on the camera. Very tips, pretty nice bright red. These started out the same as this jacket here. Well here, this should illustrate it. Tips, nice and bright red, which match the bike. As you go up in the glove, because riding the bike, further up in the glove sees more sun, fading to a pink. Look at that. 9 months, already color fading. What are you going to do? Now, it pisses me off for one reason. These are a Core-Tech HDX glove. And it pisses me off because these gloves were freaking $70. That's more than a low-end jacket. $70 for this little tiny thing. Hardly any material. Probably costs $2 to make in China. What do you want to bet it's made in China? This is a double XL. Nope, Vietnam. Leather, nylon, neoprene, spandex, polyester, and polyurethane. Yep. So it's not even carbon fiber. It's plastic. Probably $1.50 to make these in Vietnam. $70. And it's already sun fading and kind of looking like crap up here. And I will probably, within the next year, be looking for another pair of gloves and wasting another 60, 70, 80 bucks. So yeah, that's gloves. Back to jackets. Okay, finishing up the Reactor 2.0. Overall, absolutely love the jacket. Extremely comfortable, very nice fit, very comfortable in the Florida sun, even in stop traffic. You've got great wind flow. As soon as you start moving, it starts cooling you off. I had no problems with this jacket. The zipper works great. Everything except the armor and one spot I'm going to show you is like brand new. I'm not kidding. You have side torso protection here. You have a Velcro waist cinch system, so it can fit you the best. On the arms, you don't have snaps. You have an elastic and Velcro system to bring your forearm and the armor in place. And then over here you have what they call a face shield storage pocket. And it's basically a huge pocket that wraps all the way around your back. So if you're the type that runs multiple face shields, maybe a tint and a non-tint for day and nighttime running, you can store one of those face shields and it wraps around your torso while you're riding. I never used it. I don't know anybody that uses it. You know, they just stick to one shield, or these days they have the transitions. So it's not a feature you typically see anymore. Kind of like this headphone jack. And I covered that, and then a couple hand warmer pockets. And that's it. Now, the problem that made me get a new jacket. Like I said, figured out the shoulder armor needed to be replaced. I'm like, well, okay, I just spent 25 bucks on these. Should I spend another 25 bucks and get these? Here's why I said no. Up here, because this top shoulder part and collar is all this thin perforated leather, it started to rip. It just started in a couple different spots just to rip, to spread apart. There isn't a seam or anything that's ripping. I repaired it once with some vinyl repair, and it just started ripping in a different place. It's not from anything I did. I have it on this hanger right now just for display. I've never put this on a hanger. I just lay it down on my couch or my table. So it's not from anything poking it, and it's ripping in multiple places. And it's starting up here. You can see it just stressing. It's going in between the perforations. It's just from use. It's just from being on my body and in the sun. And that's all this is. This collar is just a stitched piece of this normal, thin, perforated leather. And it is very thin. But I never had a problem with it until it started to break. So I said, you know what? If I put another 25 bucks into replacing the armor, how long is this going to last? I mean, I can't keep repairing it. It's just going to keep ripping all the way around the collar. So let's see what else is out there. So I went online and boom, they had a new one out, version 3.0. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so here's the Joe Rocket Reactor 3.0. This has been out less than a year. And I will say that you can still buy brand new version 2.0s. And there's a very good reason why you might want to do that. Number one, obviously, they're going to last several years without failure. So I have no compunction recommending them to anybody, especially in hotter climates. The reason is you can get them for about $100 right now because they are on clearance just about anywhere that still has them in stock. All those online stores I mentioned, you can get them for about $100, which is half off. Version 3.0, I got it for $215. You're really not going to find it discounted anywhere. They're all about the same price no matter where you find it. So for less than half the cost, you can get the 2.0 and still have a truly excellent jacket for several years. Now, differences between the two. I'm still glad that I chose to get the 3.0, by the way. Like I said, 215 bucks. Is it worth double the cost? Maybe, maybe not. It's definitely worth more though, that's for sure. A lot of big differences. Looks pretty similar. First thing, looks-wise, I have to say, there is a color difference. Both of these are called red. This is not a straight red. The 2.0 red is a nice, normal fire engine red. It's going to match any red bike out there. Yamaha, Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki. Any red bike, that was a great match. This red on the 3.0, there's a little splash of high-vis orange in it. It is not a fire engine red. It's got that little bit of a neon look to it. So if you're very concerned about matching the color of your bike for whatever reason, This is not going to match anybody's red bike, period. It does have that little tint to it. I don't really care. Because here's why. The old jacket, I had red everywhere, as you saw. This one only has it right here. The back is all black. So, not really that big of a deal to me. Sure, I like matching my bike. I don't want to wear a green jacket or a blue jacket on my red bike if I can help it. Especially if I'm ordering a new jacket, I might as well get one that matches, right? Just a note, not a deal breaker. Okay, overall, first thing after you put this on, huge quality difference. This feels so much more substantial. It is the same class of jacket. It is a mesh hybrid leather jacket. Still has, for the most part, the free airflow mesh everywhere, and it still works just great. Same removable windproof liner. The inside actual liner of the jacket is a much thicker poly material. Where the old one was pretty much like a fishing net, this is more of a nice, soft liner material. So it does feel nicer on your skin if you're wearing short sleeves, for example. Likewise, on the old version, it has a zipper for attaching pants, and it also has hooks down here for your pants if you're using rain gear. We have the same waterproof pocket. Actually, this one is not waterproof. This feels more like windproof. It is not a rubberized material. No, this is not waterproof at all. It's just a normal, almost fabric type material. So you can put your phone in there at least. There is no more headphone pass-through. We're in the days of Bluetooth. People using that kind of stuff, sorry, they're in the minority, so you're going to find it tough to find jackets with stuff like that. Likewise, no pocket for the face shield. Okay, those features are just not needed these days anymore for a lot of people, so they're gone. On the arms, instead of the Velcro, we find the 3-position snaps, just like the woman version on the Diva. Obviously, you don't have quite as much versatility with 3 versus an infinite number of positions, but I find that the number 3 works fine for me. I might cinch down to number 2 as I kind of break it in. I've only worn it for a couple days, but that's just fine. The important thing is you don't want this elbow armor to be shifting around. That's it. Then at the wrist, we again have a Velcro to put it into its final position, and then an improvement, just a quick zipper to close up the sleeve. No extra snap to have to do. I never liked that snap. I never, like I said, did the snap up, so it was kind of pointless being there. You also get a spare set of snaps and buttons with the jacket, so if any of these fail, they do give you an extra couple sets. They're up here on the collar. Collar, another huge improvement. Okay, the biggest difference between the two is the shoulder and collar area. On the old one, as you saw, it was just that thin perforated leather, the entire thing. All the shoulder areas, even the collar, that's only thin perforated leather material. Now we have a much more substantial design. We have the mesh with integrated padding up here on tops of the shoulders. Better wind cooling. I never thought I had a problem with the perforated leather on the version 2 until I tried this one. Better. You do notice it. It does keep you cooler and helps the wind flow through a little bit better than just having it on the chest and the back. So that's an improvement. Even though it's only a few inches, and right here, just having that not blocked further by that leather, big difference. Then on the shoulders and down the elbows, much thicker leather. I mean probably 3 or 4 times as thick, and it's solid cowhide. It is not thin perforated. This is just solid, same kind of leather you're going to get in a full leather race suit padding. All right, this is great stuff. Extremely thick and relatively stiff, much better protection. And then of course under all of this, the same CE armor on the shoulders and the elbows. Same dual density foam back pad, not a CE approved spine protector, but again, provisions for adding it should you want to at a later date. Really that's something people going to the track or doing serious street riding are going to want to do. For normal day-to-day stuff, you're not going to be sliding out of a corner on your back. So this is going to at least make a fall more comfortable for you, but not going to give you that actual spine armor protection. You can add it if you want to. Up on the collar, huge improvement by using the same really thick cowhide to make the collar itself. And then on the inside you have some nice padded fabric, so it's not going to rub on your neck. Feels very comfortable. It feels like you're just wearing a collared shirt, but much better strength. I'm not going to have to worry about this stressing and cracking like the version 2.0 did. Granted, it took a long time, but it still did. Just in day and night difference of longevity, dependability, and strength. You can't compare the two. This leather and that leather, not even close. And then of course we have some more padding up here. That's new. Some more padding down here. These are, again, like in the version 2.0, reflective, so they glow bright white at night. And then we have, just like the 2.0, a nice band around the back here, and this keeps your jacket from ever flipping up in the wind. Along the sides, same type of Velcro cinch straps so that you can fit it to your waist, so you don't have air or anything going up there. And this is new. There's a little snap here, so if you want to do that up, I typically ride with mine zipped about 3/4 of the way up and this open just for a little bit more airflow. But in cooler weather, this keeps you nice and sealed up. And that's all she wrote. Like I said, I'm glad I spent the $215, but if you are budget conscious, or if you don't think these particular features are worth $115, pick up a brand new 2.0. You will love that too. Great jacket. So there you go, guys. Those are my rambling thoughts. Pretty much everything I have to say on jackets, materials, little tip on gloves, but I wanted to show you the difference between the 2 and 3.0 specifically. So if you're in the market for a jacket, a really good jacket for anything but the coldest weather, these are going to do it for you. I'm in the hottest weather, and they are excellent for all the way down into freezing temperatures, which we only get here a week or two a year, but they still work just fine. So I wanted to bring that to your attention and maybe help you make a decision. That's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Check out the site, TwoWheelObsession.com. Plenty of other stuff on there. And we'll see you next time.